Not now.
Welcome to the Titans Table for Two. We're back. We've got 2 weeks left until the draft. That's Christian,
That's Andrew.
and we're back with a brand new episode after this.
And I mean, you look at the numbers at Steve McNair, which we'll talk about in just a moment. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Maybe that's what the commissioner was looking at, his statistics at Alcorn State.
With the third choice in the first round, the Houston Oilers select quarterback from Alcorn State, Steve McNair.
All right.
The Washington Redskins are now on the clock.
All right, they had the guts to pull the trigger. Steve McNair, 14,496 yards passing in 4 years. 2,300 yards running the football. Passing touchdowns and running touchdowns combined, 152 touchdowns. I don't care who he's playing against, Joe. That's unbelievable.
You bring up the most important point, Chris.
Old Steve
All
McNair.
right. The GOAT, baby. Hoping for a little bit of, hoping to dip back into that
Quarterback magic.
quarterback magic. Yeah, I was looking for something there, man. I didn't think that one through before I started. We've got a lot of the latest Titans news coming y'all's way, though. Thank you for making us part of your playlist. Follow us on X and Facebook. We're also live there. And stay tuned because we got some stuff coming for you in the next couple of weeks, man. Going to go live for the draft and enjoy that with you guys, man. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Shout out to the Curtis Podcast Network for having us on. And, yeah, let's get started. I think we all know by now that our guy is probably Cam Ward. So I figured maybe we could jump into some of the pros and cons about his game, seeing as we kind of come to a consensus that that's basically where we think the Titans are going to be going.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a foregone conclusion. I think it was already kind of leaning that way, and then once they canceled their private workout with Shador, I think that was like the nail in the coffin to me.
Every move the Titans have made the last 3 weeks, I'd say, has pointed Cam Ward. So
Yeah, absolutely.
but, yeah, we can get into some of the pros of his game if you'd like.
Yeah, it's pro. I mean, has a strong arm, very calm in the pocket. Doesn't ever look like
Slows the game down so much it almost looks like it's crazy when you watch the game film. It's just it almost looks like he's not trying. You know, makes it look effortless.
Yeah, he can feel the rush really well. You know, you can see him just kind of maneuvering the pocket. His cons is definitely likes to play hero ball sometimes, and that can get him in a lot of trouble.
Well, he makes a lot of clutch plays. He's got that playground ball style in him, but that can get away from you. I think that can also be his downfall, his greatest attribute. But he does manage the pocket well. He's pretty accurate, but struggles when when pressure's coming a little bit sometimes. But he does have a heck of an arm, not necessarily a top 5 arm strength in the league, you'd say.
Yeah, he's not Jay Cutler or something.
Yeah, he's
like
not
that.
Patrick Mahomes but
Yeah, I mean, it's very natural and easy for him. He can throw from a lot of different angles, which is very Patrick Mahomes-esque. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but like he's able to like throw from different ways. He seems like just a natural born leader. Too. Give him that. But yeah, the turnover worthy plays, the hero ball, maybe just a little more anticipation on his thing. But you know, to go from where he went as a no-star recruit and go into incarnate word to probably being the number 1 pick in the draft is crazy. So
absolutely, man. Yeah, he's also got the ability to be mobile, which also probably isn't top 5 in the league necessarily.
Yeah, he's not Patrick Mahomes, but
he's up there.
Move. Yeah,
he can move, man. Yeah, he's above average in a lot of these attributes you want as a quarterback, but maybe not a top 5. But has the ability to do so with the right nurture and molding with the right coaches and the right system. So,
and definitely, I think with the improved offensive line, give him some more time to throw. hopefully. So all of it come
Yes,
together. You know, I mean, the thing we're lacking probably is more weapons for him. But
And how he's going to fit into Callahan's system. We'll see how that goes. But that's
Callahan's
gonna
going to
play.
be the QB guru like he's supposed to be. You hope he'd be able to, fix those timing anticipation things, and he drifts in the
Yeah.
pocket a little bit. Like I said, he feels the rush, but he also drifts sometimes when he doesn't have
Yeah.
to, especially backwards.
Yeah, and we said questionable decision making. Sometimes, like you said, he tries to play that hero ball a little too much that we've talked about in the past with guys. It improved through the season, though. He's one of the guys that I enjoyed watching this year. Miami, I don't know. I always like watching the Hurricanes when they're on. Sometimes, man, they're
Yeah.
one of the schools I've always kind of enjoyed.
Yeah, so
But it did improve through the season a little bit. He got better.
I would say
with
from
his
where he
decision
was,
making.
Incarnate Word to Washington State to Miami last year,
Mhm.
like especially Miami, I think he only threw like 7 picks, if I'm correct, at Miami last year.
Yeah.
So better for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still
It's
needs
just got
improvement.
it's got to prove at the next level.
Yeah.
It's just certainly that decision making's got to improve. But and I'm not an expert. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be the football expert here when I'm talking about this. This is just coming from guys that are experts. They talk about his footwork sometimes.
Yeah, like I say drifts a little bit.
Kurt Warner's mentioned it. Other guys that have played the position. So by any means, I'm not trying to sound like the quarterback expert when I'm talking about these technical things. It is just what I hear from people who know a lot more than I do
Smarter
about.
people than us.
Yeah. So that's one thing. And again, I said the accuracy issues, under pressure.
Yeah, but, I mean, obviously they think the positives outweigh the negatives. So,
Mhm.
and I said I know I was Team Shador, but I've always liked Cam Ward too, and I like his. I've always said his ceiling's higher too. So they must
Buy a jersey
feel like
either
they
way.
can get that ceiling out of him, which I'm all for.
Yeah, I think I'll be having a Cam Ward jersey.
Yeah,
And I would have had a Shador Sanders jersey too if he had come here. So,
yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, I think I'm excited about the pick. I've been on the Cam Ward train from the beginning.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if I almost wish that we were picking first next year, or if we had next year's quarter. But this is how it is, right? So he's the best guy in the draft at that position. It's a eyesore of a need for our team, so I'm happy with it. So
Yeah, I agree. So, getting to a little cleanup. There hasn't a lot happened in the last 2 weeks. I mean, there's been a lot of
yeah, lots happened.
talk.
They canceled the Shador Sanders. If you want to touch on that a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe.
and Chris Pro Day. Originally said we spent more time with him than Cam, so we feel comfortable that we know who he is. But really, it just means we're drafting Cam, because
Yeah, the differences just must have been so significant.
Even if you had spent twice as much time with him than Cam, like if that's your guy, you want to spend every minute possible. With him.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I'm even hearing rumors that people like draft experts, a lot of them are saying he might not go till mid to late.
Yep.
He just doesn't have that velocity on some of his throws that you'll hear a lot, from guys that have that expertise. He just doesn't have that NFL arm velocity right now. After 40 yards, it kind of just.
He's super accurate, but yeah, you could kind of tell there's a little more air under those balls on some that didn't need the air like that. But I mean, I give him credit. Like I said, he is fairly accurate.
He's pretty accurate at all ranges of the field.
I think
But he's
it
going to
might be
need just
best
a little
for
bit
him is
more.
do like a Raider or a Giant
Steelers.
Or a
If he could drop to the Steelers, I think it would be
drop to the
perfect.
Steelers if Rodgers is there. I think him sitting for
The
a year would be
49ers,
amazing.
the Dolphins. There's a few places I could see taking a chance on him, man.
I'm trying to think of like older quarterbacks that might not be there that
Saints.
long. Saints would be a
Saints,
big one.
maybe.
Derek Carr doesn't have that much time left. So.
But yeah, so I mean, Shedeur Sanders is obviously. I mean, I'm hearing that the Browns and the Giants are passing as well on Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of Travis Hunter, the Browns.
Yeah, I think the Browns might, but I don't know. I can't imagine.
It's just hard for me because
They were talking so much about Abdul Carter.
Like-
I don't know if that he scared people away with.
you're gonna be your starter in Cleveland. Like he's better than Kenny Pickett already for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If, I wonder if Abdul Carter has kind of scared people away from him a little bit because he's kind of quieted down the last week or so.
Yeah, I mean,
with
I
draft
think
talk.
both of those guys are gonna go top 4.
I'm referring to the Browns, not like entirely. Obviously, I
Yeah.
mean just that second pick.
Yeah,
You're more
they're
Travis Hunter now.
top 4, depending on Shedeur if he goes in the top 3, and then those guys
Yeah.
round out the top 4 regardless.
And the rest of the dominoes will fall. Yeah.
Yeah, the draft at this point starts at 2. And we'll see what happens. So we're still gonna be live. We're gonna be at Dominic's and Hermitage for the draft, doing a live show. But I mean, the draft starts at 2. I think we're gonna be on for the whole first round, and I think it's important because I think me and you talked about this a little bit before we got on, but we'll share this image from an article from ESPN with Teron Davenport and Matt Miller. Teron says Matt Miller, formerly of Bleacher Report, I believe. The Titans already addressed offensive line and free agency, adding veteran left tackle Dan Moore and guard Kevin Zeitler. Awesome. They could best support a first-round quarterback by turning their attention to wide receiver, where they only signed free agent Van Jefferson and lost NWI. This is an unproven group outside of Calvin Ridley and could see a boost, especially one of the projected first-round receivers is available in early trade too, and that's what we've talked about. If Burden or Egbuka fall, snatch them up. But Matt Miller, adds on, said all signs point to Cam Ward. What will the Titans do on day 2? They're lacking a third-round pick because of the L'Jarius Sneed trade. Expect Tennessee to be aggressively in adding a wideout, possibly with a trade up from 35 to target a player like Egbuka or Burden. So that is interesting. I'm not totally against it. But I also would need to know, like, how far up we go and how much are you giving up? Like, if you're giving up one of your 4s, I think I'm okay. Like, if you're getting like 120 to move up 5 picks and get back in the first round and get them, I'm okay with that. To get your guy if you don't think he's going to fall those last 5 picks. Like the Chiefs at 31. If you think you can get in there with the Chiefs and just give up a 4th, I think that all it would cost. It would only cost 103 or 120. Now the only problem is if you trade 103 to trade up, then you're looking at like 80 picks before you pick again.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm into it. I don't know, man. That's hard for me to. I think there's plenty of good players that dropped at 35. Man, it's hard to give up 103 for a few spots, man. I just think there's some other talent out there. We need to stack picks. I love the idea, but I love the idea of having one of those players. But who's to say one doesn't fall?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it all depends on if you can give, like, look, if you give up a 3rd round pick next year, or a 4th round next year to move up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, here's a question.
It just all depends on the deal, and a lot of these things, man, in hindsight, they don't work out. So it's like sometimes later on, it's, it ends up looking worse than it maybe did, a lot of times.
It's an interesting question because all the talk has been, hey, let's trade down at 35.
Yeah.
And pick up some more picks. And I mean, more picks is currency. But I do think like there's a huge drop off once you go through the T-Max, the Matthew Goldens, the Egbukas, the Burns, the gap. Like, I like these guys. I like a Kyle Williams. I like a Jaden Higgins. I like Trey Harris. But the gap is there. So is it worth it to go get a top tier guy? Someone's in that first tier, and not only you got to think about if you were to trade into the first round and pick him up, then you have him for a 5th-year option at a cheaper rate.
Right.
If he's in the second round, he gets 4 years, and then you have to sign
It
him.
just all depends on what's given away, man. It's hard for me to want to give away that 103. If we could maybe somehow give away something next year and the 35, then I'd be more. But God, man, giving that 35 and that 103 away
Which one
is
would you
tough.
rather trade up for?
As far as the receivers go,
As Bird and Egbuka are both there, which one would you trade?
Egbuka.
Is that a bias?
That's a biased pick, yeah.
At least you can be
I
honest.
was being honest, man. But
No,
yeah,
I
I mean, I
think-
watched him more.
Oh yeah.
I
they're two
saw
totally
Burden,
different
you know,
guys.
because I watched a lot of Texas games as well. But I watched every single Ohio State game. You know,
No, Missouri. They're two totally different receivers though, and like they're both.
or yeah,
good at what
Missouri.
they
Sorry,
do.
excuse me. Yeah,
Egbuka, he's gonna be that slot guy, crafty, gonna get open. Could be a quarterback's best friend, honestly, you know.
yeah,
But then Burden definitely has more talent after the catch. Can be line up
Yeah.
outside, you know, a little quicker. I would be okay with either. I think I'd rather have Burden. It kind of goes into the whole. It's really because it's like the opposite of what I'm thinking. Like when I was going at the quarterbacks, where I think
yeah.
Burden's ceiling is higher, but
Yeah,
Egbuka's floor is higher.
I saw less Mizzou stuff. I watched SEC stuff,
Well,
so I'll
he
see.
just
I'll see a couple
destroyed him.
games. I know more about Egbuka, and
Yeah,
obviously being the fan, I've seen a lot of the tape. I've watched every game. You know, I saw almost every one of his touchdowns. That's why. I mean, I've watched a lot of SEC
coming
football
from a
too. So I mean, I'm
like
obviously
this littered with wide receiver talent. I believe he's the leading receiver of all time at Ohio State.
yeah.
And that school has just put out receivers like nobody's business.
Yeah, I mean,
Burden
that's
did
wide
not
receiver
have his best
academy there,
season
man.
last year, but that offense was just bad. Brady Cook sucks. Let's be honest, Missouri's quarterback.
Yeah,
So he had a drop off, but I don't really put that much on him, honestly. The offense was just a lot of screens and stuff like that. Like not really using his talent as much as you could, where you could go up and get the ball.
I mean, I like the idea of the Titans being aggressive like that, you know, as opposed to giving away a.
It would suck to go that long
Franchise
without
wide
a pick, but
receiver.
you're also like, if that's your guy and you think he improves a football team that much, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm not against it completely. I right now I'm in trade down unless one of those guys fall. You know, we
It's a
talked
big
about.
hit, man. You know what I mean? It's a big hit. You're not getting, you know, you're not getting a lot more this year. And if you have to give away 103 and something next year, I don't know. I think that's a no for me.
No, I don't think. I think if you were going to trade up like 5 picks to 30 or 29, I just think it would only cost. I think it would cost 120. Is really what I think. But like I said, if you go from 35 to 30 and you still have 103, you're like I said, 73 picks until you pick again. You know. But,
Yeah, it just depends on how the dominoes fall, I guess, coming up to that spot, man. You know, because they have their board,
mhm.
and depends on how quick those names start falling.
Yeah. If there's a run on receivers. It's like there's not a run. Like say you get to like 31 and both of them are there. You know, you might feel a little bit better. You know, and then maybe you can just trade up to the first pick of the second round and only give up like a 5th, you know, and be
Right.
okay with it. So there's a lot
Yeah, I
of
mean, it's a
ways.
thing too. You could always mess around with 103. You know what I mean? Maybe trade back for a couple extra picks. You know,
Mhm.
we'll see, man. It just depends on how everything falls, I reckon. So
Yeah,
a little cleanup though. We kind of forgot to mention Titans bringing in George Fant
that's a big one to
for a
me.
visit.
He would be a great swing tackle. Kind of feeling. So I think we
Yeah.
have a lot of depth at the inside with Levin and Rupich. So I wouldn't mind having another guy to swing on the outside and just get rid of NPF.
Well, we need a swing tackle for sure, man. And I mean, right now it's NPF or what is that? Jalen Duncan, I guess. Right now
We have
would be your-
nobody. All I'm hearing.
Yeah, so cut NPF, save the $3 million, bring in a veteran, man.
I would
sick
cut him
of
if
it. I
it
can't-
cost us $3 million.
Yeah, just Yeah, if I had $3 million to give you, I would give you $3 million to
Just to
cut.
cut him.
Yeah.
Just to cut him.
But yeah, looking like he's narrowed his options down to the Ravens and the Titans. George Pant, that is. But yeah, that's definitely something that we need. Just a small bit of cleanup we had there to talk about. And if you want to touch on Hardy real quick as well.
Yeah, Justin Hardy was re-signed. Just a great special teams player. He came in about midway through the season, right when that special team started to get cleaned up a little bit. It was a good re-signing. I mean, if anything, we need as much special teams help as we can get. So, and the guys who've come in done a good job. Please bring them back. So
Absolutely.
that was a good one for sure. But since we are talking mock draft, Jordan DeJaney did a 7-round mock draft for the Titans, and I really like. I did look through it. I'm not gonna lie already, and I'm a fan. And just a sneak peek, he does have a trade down for us in this pick at 35.
Okay.
So
That's what I think is more likely, honestly. I mean, this I know this guy at ESPN's coming out of left field with this stuff, but
yeah. So here's the original picks that we have: 135, 103, 120, 141, 167, 178, 188. The trade down was with, I believe, the Buffalo Bills. We end
you
with
gotta
10
zoom it
picks.
off. Can you zoom just a little bit.
Yeah.
Down, so. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let me try this again. Is that good or no? One more.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. So after the Bills, I think I'm pretty sure it was the Bills when I read through it. 156. So you're dropping 21 picks, but then you pick up 62. 103. Go back 5 picks from 120 to 125. And then you pick up 199.
Oh wait, he had us pick up 2 picks. We're trading back.
We trade back in the second round, 21 picks to 56.
We trade 35 for 56 and 62.
Right, and then we also give them 120, we get 125 back. So we drop 5 there, but then we also
Okay, I
pick
got
up
you.
199. I don't hate this trade at all.
That's one heck of a prediction.
I mean, it would suck to go 55 picks without a pick, but I like having 2 second-round picks for sure, and then only losing
I hate
5.
not having 2 in the top 35 though.
Surprise, surprise. The first pick is Cam Ward. Doesn't even have much to say about it.
Yeah.
Prospective franchise quarterback. 56, Jaden Higgins, who is his 5th ranked receiver.
Oh, okay.
I like Higgins. I know a lot of talk has been about Kyle Williams since he was teaming up with Cam Ward at Washington State. I like Higgins, though. 6'4", 215, big body, 87 catches, almost 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. Definitely the yin to the yang of Calvin Ridley, for sure. So I do like that. So there's your one receiver. I go from there to Braden. There's no N. Braden Winston. Their 3rd pick, another edge rusher. So that's the 2 needs right there. Your 3 needs to be count quarterback. There must be a lot of edge rushers going because at 62, it's already his 16th ranked edge rusher.
Yeah.
He had 8.5 sacks for LSU last year. Tenacious yet calculated. I'm not sure what that means, but good size, 6'4", 255. Anytime SEC defense. Dante Thornton. We talked about him a lot. A lot of speed.
I enjoyed watching him a lot this year, man. He's
didn't have a ton. He's very much a big play guy.
He's a big play guy.
You're gonna have to. He's gonna definitely have to like clean up his route tree and stuff like that. Right now, I think he'd just kind of be like a take the top off the defense kind of cat.
Yeah, I like a Dante Thornton Jr., especially late like that. Man, that's a big guy.
4th round,
really like
for sure.
Yeah, I really like him at that point in the draft right there, man.
6 touchdowns on 26 catches. So you're talking about like a touchdown every 4 catches almost.
Yeah, he's definitely a big play guy, man.
I mean, look, 25.4 yards of reception is insane.
Yeah,
he's compared to Jaden Higgins,
to watch this year.
Half of what he had, Jaden Higgins. And they're almost the same size: 6'4", 215, 6'5", 205.
Yeah.
But 4.3 speed. So
And I've said
but
all
yeah.
along, man, I think the Titans are taking 2 wide receivers this draft, man.
Oh, I agree for sure. Unless they pick
Even
one
if
up
they don't
before.
trade, I don't think it's crazy to think they take 2 wide receivers, even if they don't trade back.
I agree. And there's another edge, which I wouldn't be surprised they took 2 edges too.
And
So he gets
exactly how you took the words out of my mouth, man.
So you get the 16th and the 17th ranked edge by him. This one a little bit different, not from an SEC school, from Central Arkansas, everybody's favorite team. Not a very big 6'1" weight there, but not super tall. He's Southern Arkansas and went to Central Arkansas, so he's stayed in Arkansas. He had
Arkansas
32 and a half sacks over 3 seasons, so he averaged almost 11 sacks a season. He fits the 3-4 tag. 3-4-4. That doesn't. Yeah, I think we're more of a multiple front team, but they see potential there. I'm all for it. Here we go. Here's a nice Jeffrey Bossa, a linebacker, come in there and compete with the Cedric Grays and James Williams.
Yeah.
He's a converted safety, so he could be that coverage linebacker that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Which is a big need, and we need somebody to come in and compete with that because we didn't get to see much out of Cedric last year.
At the very least, another special teams contributor. So, 6'1", 232. There's another
another tackle.
Yeah, I think he could also he could move inside. Yeah, right there. He could move inside to the next level. I remember them talking about he could be a guard as well. So you could be your Kevin Zeitler replacement after a year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Get the wide receiver you want to hold. I don't think you trade back and gain picks if there's 2 to 3 clear favorites at the position. I agree, but
yeah,
do you trade up to get one of those guys? That's the
that's a whole other question, right? Yeah, that's the part I'm struggling with a little bit. I like Egbuka and I like Burden.
Here's where I stand on it. If they were to trade up to do it, I wouldn't be mad. But what I'd rather is stick and pick, and if they fall, take them. If those 2, there's 4 guys that I'd want to stick and pick at 35. 2 receivers, 2 edges, and it'd be Egbuka, Burden, Pierce, and Donovan Ezeruku out of Boston College. Those are
it just all depends on how the day
and they don't fall, then trade
plays
back.
out, man.
But if they were they firmly believe Burden or Egbuka are worth trading up, then I'm not gonna be mad that those guys are on my team. But Caleb Rogers, definitely a developmental piece, 5th round. Played a lot. Look at that, having more than 4,300 college snaps. Wow, love that. These guys are going to have more with all this NIL. The biggest thing is you're going to have more and more older guys coming into the league because they're just going to stay in college and make money.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be shorter NFL careers start to play out.
Wohler looks like he's part of the rowing team. Tackle, he's led the Badgers in tackles in 2 years at a safety, 6'2", 213. You don't want him. He's a good run defender. What I'm saying is good run defender. He's obviously not the best in coverage, but he does have closing speed and aggression.
I don't like that 188 pick, really, to be honest with you. I think that's I think that's the same thing as like a Tajay Spears,
Yeah, he's definitely more of a pass catching back. I'd like to see like an Ollie Gordon right there.
We need a more of a power back or something at that position, And
I like it's cool that they does just a Titans draft, so I can look at it. The Titan have to look through it all, but I also then I want to see the whole draft. I can see who he has going after him. No, I'd rather have him right there. If Ollie Gordon is available right there, I'd love to have Ollie Gordon. No,
I think we need a different style back. If we're going to take a back, I think we are taking a running back. I'm one of the people that thinks maybe the Titans will actually go running back.
You're looking for, not that I think we're going to get him. I know it'd make you heavy, but a Judkins. That's the kind of style you want. Someone who's going to go out there and get those hard yards and fight for those hard yards. You already have Pollard's a fighter and stuff too, but just a big, that doesn't have to be Jerome Bettis, but just even like a Maurice Jones-Drew, just a solid dude that's going to get those tough yards.
Yeah. We got a Tulane cornerback.
I like Jaden Blue, but I don't like him with Spears and Pollard.
I don't need. Yeah, we need a different style running back.
And then another player from Tulane, a cornerback who could play nickel or even move to safety. I mean, at that point, at 199, you're basing it off of potential for special teams and stuff like that. Testable athletically is a sound tackler. Not sure why I said it like that. Sound tackler. Definitely something you want on special teams. So, I mean, if the draft were to go that way, I would not be mad at all. Maybe
I mean, I like the idea of picking up 3 more picks or whatever it was there. Or what was it? 2? We picked up 2 more picks. Or did we? Well, I guess we picked up 1 in the long run, right? Yeah.
No, we got 2 more in the long run.
Did we get 2 more? Yeah. Okay, because we got the
late 199 too. Yeah. An extra second and an extra 6. Overall.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the idea of getting more picks for sure. Just in general.
Yeah.
But anyway, we also have a Rad Carthon video if you want to pop that up.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
we're going to react to.
Interesting as get out. Former Titans GM Ran Carthon.
Go ahead and get that.
Is going to speak on Cam Ward, which I thought was interesting to say the least. So let's see what he's got to say.
30 days till the NFL draft, and the betting market says Cam Ward's going number 1, minus 1,200.
I just want to put out that this video is from 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, weather and stuff was bad here in Tennessee and stuff.
Yeah, not even like that. Like just because I don't know the odds and stuff are now, but just in general. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. We planned on reacting to this last week, though, guys.
After Miami's pro day, I believe. So
yeah, we were going to react to this last week, and then the weather got real bad for a couple of days. Yeah, it just became hard. I had power going on and off here on Friday and stuff. So it was weird.
Jeez Louise.
Abdul Carter, really the only other option to go number 1 at this point at 6-1. Travis Hunter 34-1. Shedeur Sanders 40-1. This after what Ryan Wilson called one of the best pro days he's ever seen in person. Cam Ward, great down in Coral Gables. And Ryan Wilson has an article up right now at CBSSports.com saying that the Titans have no choice but to take him number 1 after his pro day. We have Ryan Wilson with us, along with former Titans GM Ran Carthon, both at Ward Pro Days yesterday. So, Ran, I want to ask you if you agree with what Ryan said, that the Titans really have no choice. It's a no-brainer at this point.
We won't go that far just because it's a long process.
There's always a choice.
There's still 30 more days, and a lot can happen in between that time. But I'd say this. His performance yesterday, in using Cam's words, he felt like he solidified it. There was a throw, and I think Ryan remembered this throw where he rolls left and he makes an on-point throw to Restrepo, I believe, and he looks at the Titans brass and he's like, I'm solidifying this today. And that was his.
Isn't it just so strange that the former GM is on there talking about what the current
I know, it's kind of weird, and it's a little surreal.
I like Carthon, though. And get his name right. If he's on the show, Carthon.
Yeah. Carthon.
Ran Carthon. But it's kind of odd, at least.
His words to the GM, Mike Borgonzi after that. So that just shows a little bit his competitive side. But I think Cam wants this more than what people will care to know.
Hassel, I would just like to point out that Amanda never clapped for me when I came on set. She couldn't cheer loudly enough for the arrival of Ran Carthon. I'm glad to have Ran here as well.
Everyone now gets a round of applause. No, I always enjoy. I don't think I've seen you since the Super Bowl.
It's been a minute. Yeah. It's been a minute. It's good to see you guys in person. Right? Absolutely.
Which Super Bowl? The one like over a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Not this past one.
We were all hanging out in Vegas. That was a cool Super Bowl.
So what is it that made this such a great pro day compared to some of the other number 1 draft picks you've seen recently?
It was so crisp, that it was, and it was one of the longest pro days I remember. Is that the longest pro day you've ever been to?
I was trying to say his passes were so crisp, Chris.
It was so crispy.
I'm not bored.
Yeah, and Rand's been doing this too.
It's probably not the best adjective to put with the word crisp.
Yeah, it was so crispy, Chris.
Is that sharp? but he went with crisp.
Started at 11, and I got back to my hotel room after an hour drive at 10 o'clock.
Oh, geez.
So it was probably 7+ hours in terms of when you start testing the kids and measuring hands and height, weight, and then you save the quarterback to last, which isn't unconventional. But it could have been a situation where he just had a slightly above average pro day, but you had waited so long, you were burned out on just standing around, and he exceeded expectations. The ball comes out of his hand so quickly, and it's just a flick of the wrist, and the ball travels 30 yards on a rope. And we heard Rand talk about the athleticism and his ability to move outside the pocket, and we saw that, of course, at Miami during the fall. And then here you see him at the end, and he talked to Rand about this in the interview that he and Rand did on CBS Sports about how he wanted to show that not only was a good athlete,
I can't wait to see Cam Ward. Why did he run? I thought he caught past. I'm sorry, I must have
versatile.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
I
yeah,
want them
I
to
can't
know,
wait to see him
like,
catch
I'm
one.
1 for 1 on a touchdown. Your interview, by the way, was great. Go find it if you will. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
right now, both of you, I believe, have Cam Ward ahead of Shador Sanders. It seems like that he even went up a little bit about that. Okay, so here's the thing. Emory Hunt, we love him, is getting a lot of flack from a lot of our experts here. He's looking.
I love how they talk like that, by the way. Who would you have him above Shador Sanders? Like we weren't all arguing about it months ago. Like I just love how they talk like that. I bet you I could go find a video months back, them contradicting themselves. I digress.
We got Michael down here on the stage, but I don't know if there's no video.
You tell him to come on in here, man.
You hear, Mike? Mike. All right. We're going to keep playing.
Texting.
Good in the yellow, though. And by the way, I don't know if you guys can see it on TV, he has cocktails on his shirt. Emory, are you still going with Shador Sanders above Cam Ward in your quarterback rankings?
At 120 by 53 in the third. I keep it straight about what's on the field. Anything that happens after that, I don't care about. And when you look at what Shador Sanders has done on the football field, I would love to just go to the fourth quarter when the game is on the line. This guy is lights out in that scenario. You talk about going back to Jackson State, Soul Bowl, Alcorn State. Great job lead these guys down the field for a touchdown to get them into the Celebration Bowl, in which he got them down inside the red zone, got the score, but the defense gave up a touchdown late. The next year, Celebration Bowl once again. This time Travis Hunter is there. Fourth down, throws a deep ball down the sideline. Travis Hunter catches it in the.
Wouldn't that be wild, man? We're doing all this talking about Cam Ward, and they say Shador Sanders up there. That would shock me, man.
That would be the craziest thing ever.
That would shock me, man. I would be absolutely shocked, man. All this talking and stuff. But yeah, to be fair to Shador, that's what I was going to say, man. I've been on the Cam Ward train the whole time, but he kind of did play with a crappy offensive line and a crappy offense just in general over there. He didn't really have the best unit over there, especially up front.
How about Shador, Cam?
Shador.
Oh no, that offensive line was horrible.
Yeah, and he did what he did. But yeah, that was just to be fair to Shador, though. But yeah.
Oh, we're getting Philip upset again. That we are taking Cam Ward. Period. Hey,
I agree.
We agree.
And that's what I want. Easy, Tiger. Easy.
I've invited Mr. Stinnett on to talk with us. But he just wants to stay in the chat. He's yelling Cam Ward.
Okay, well, you have a seat right there above Andrew. If you ever want to join,
get above me. You can get below Christian.
I pass the gas sometimes, so it might be stinky down there.
Corner to send the game to overtime, in which defense gave up big plays and they lost. Colorado, how many times we're all up at 3 o'clock German time watching Colorado play because they started the game late at night, and he's out there leading the team down in a need to have a situation.
You say German time? Is that in America?
Honestly, the only thing that separates for me Cam Ward, because I think they're both good quarterbacks for different reasons, and we've talked about it several times. Honestly, I think what separates Cam from Shador is just his, natural abilities. He's just a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's necessarily better at playing the quarterback position. I think he has his own way, and his way is different than what Shedeur does. You know what I mean? Like I think he's like more
He
improvised.
just makes it look so effortless, man. Like I said, it slows down.
Accuracy, but he just has more God-given talent. You know what I mean? Than Shedeur, which is crazy because you would Shedeur and Shiloh,
ironic,
the most athletic people in the world ever.
Yeah,
and not that they're not athletes. Obviously, they're going to the NFL. You're an athlete, but just like compared to their dad, it's crazy. I guess he doesn't have Marcus Jordan didn't do nothing. So,
yeah, right.
All right, let's go.
Wait, so give me those type of plays. That's what the NFL is all about. How you do in these critical
And Michael
situations.
Jordan also didn't make his team draft his son either.
End of game situations. That's where Shedeur Sanders excels. I'm not worried about taking the sacks, but the best way you can help him out in that regard, run the ball. They ran the ball probably 9 times out the entire 2 years he was at Colorado. So run the football. He's not throwing it 35 times a game. That's how you calm that sack number down. He is a clean prospect, but if you want
Talk about exaggeration,
I'm not hating because Cam Ward is also a very good prospect. Don't let them fool you and tell you that neither one of these guys would have been first round picks last year, because that's just funny money.
Just funny money. So let me ask you guys this, and I was listening to the podcast. You guys just recorded it today or yesterday. I don't even know when. And you did give Shedeur Sanders his flowers when it comes to that, his pocket presence, and saying Cam Ward maybe goes for those shots. Shedeur Sanders can extend those plays maybe a little bit better. What are you looking for when you're comparing these two quarterbacks?
I think they're both, their games are a little different. And, I think it becomes a little bit overstated when Shedeur is put in this box of he's not athletic. He's plenty athletic. And there's a certain thing that you call, there's the Lamar Jackson athlete, and then there's the Tom Brady was a better pocket athlete than he was given credit for. And so Shedeur is a pocket athlete. And the big thing about the National Football League, I call it, it's cute to play Golden State Warriors football in October when the weather's great. But at some point, late December and January, when it comes time to make the playoffs, you got to be able to stand in the pocket, process, and play quarterback. And that's where Shedeur excels.
I think I just won my taxes. Oh, yeah? I just switched from...
All righty. So,
I just take Cam Ward.
I don't know. What do you think, Philip?
I don't know, man. I think Shedeur Sanders might be the guy.
Cam Ward, I have all the faith he's going to come here and be. I don't like the whole comparing them to Steve McNair. Not because I don't see some comparisons. I'm like, just let the kid be him. Don't put a bunch of.
It's inevitable, man. That's how those things go in sports, So.
I know there's pressure regardless. You're the number one pick, but let's not pile on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the next big Japanese star in baseball will get compared to Shohei Ohtani, and everybody. And they'll probably have completely different styles. I mean, Shohei's an anomaly, man. He's
I'm not sure
one
that
of a kind
compared to him, but yeah, I see what you're saying though.
You get my point, yeah. But yeah, speaking of Cam Ward, I think we have a little video queued up that we want to react to about him.
I haven't watched this one yet, but I'm excited.
Me neither, man. I don't watch any of these. I don't know if you cheat, but I don't cheat before we get on here.
No, I know. So I did watch the Rand Carthon one, but I had watched it before he sent it to me.
Okay.
So he cheated before I knew he cheated.
And I looked at the mock draft, but that's why I knew I wanted to. The unbelievable rise of Cam Ward. So we talked about it. 0 stars coming out of high school, 1 offer, Incarnate Word. Played there for a couple of years, Washington State, to Miami, to almost the Heisman. One for Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty probably would have been the Heisman. So let's see.
Roads lead to Cam Ward.
We got Cam Ward, number 1.
Cam Ward's going to be the first name that we hear.
He can do it all. Yeah. That's why we're talking about him being like maybe the first quarterback. Take Cam Ward as my number 1 quarterback.
If you're Tennessee, you're going to take Cam Ward, or you're going to trade the pick for somebody else to come take Cam Ward.
Is Cam Ward worthy of the first overall pick?
I think I do deserve it.
I don't believe there's a ton of mystery as to who the Tennessee Titans will select with the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. It's not directed by Mike White.
Come on!
There is very little intrigue at number 1 overall. It's Cam Ward. Any other outcome would be a major upset when there's a quarterback-needy team picking first overall with a consensus top quarterback available. Even the Jaguar.
Who's this guy? What is this? What is this channel here?
Give him a shout out for sure.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put the.
That's good sports.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to put a link down below. I like his style already. I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
That's good sports is what it's called.
That's good sports. I feel like this is gonna get me fired up for Cam Ward.
Yeah, I like his style already. I was just gonna say that. I like his style of video.
Bars got that one right with Trevor Lawrence in a draft where 4 other quarterbacks went in the first round. There are always QBs in the NFL draft who come with a certain level of familiarity. Sometimes it's because of the program they played for. Sometimes it's because of a viral throw at the combine. And sometimes, like in Cam Ward's case, it's because they've done enough over 5 seasons through 3 programs and nearly 60 college starts to demand your attention and respect. Also, there was a pretty cool throw at his pro day. Cam Ward isn't just one of the top quarterbacks in the 2025 NFL draft. He's the top quarterback, even if that's not saying a ton this year. His path has been anything but ordinary. From an overlooked Texas high schooler in a run-heavy offense to a record-setting college QB, now close to locking in with the #1 overall pick, Ward's rise has been slow, steady, and peaked at exactly the right time for him to become the first guy off the board later this month. And yet, for all of the certainty that he will be the first name off the board, Cam still manages to be one of the most debated names in the draft class. So
See here, didn't Mahomes break off a long run against the Titans in the AFC Championship and then get back into it? I disagree with the pocket passers winning the playoffs. Yeah, I agree for sure. That was the.
That's definitely starting to evolve and change more over the last
The guy's still saying it's crazy. I absolutely agree, and that was the back-breaking play in that game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're
Yeah, I
taking
agree.
Shane Falco. I don't think he's coming out till next year. You got a Falco jersey, Christian?
I do. Actually,
That's
it's
crazy.
in the wash because it's in my dirty clothes because I wore it today.
There you go, Blake.
I'm one of the few people that you will know that has jerseys from 2 Keanu Reeves movies. So,
There you go. Falco.
the other one is the one you got, G Baby. We both got a G Baby.
Yeah, I got a G Baby. You got the black one.
We
I got the
gotta-
white one.
We got to double up on G Baby jerseys one day.
Oh yeah, we got. I'm about to rock it.
They call me G Baby Coke.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get back.
some scouts see Mahomes' light traits. Others worry about his sidearm release, red zone
too.
inconsistencies,
You don't cry when G-Baby
and
dies,
tendency to play hero ball. He's far from a perfect or generational
talent. Right?
type prospect, but he's got more than enough to set himself apart from the rest of the class. He will be #1.
He was #1.
And I believe he will be a Tennessee Titan. But
See, I like this guy's
the
style,
last
man. He
Cam
likes
to
to
go
edit like I
#1
do.
overall was a pretty great choice.
Perna Ray. Who the fuck is Perna?
Today, we got balls deep and down.
Use the language, folks. Balls deep, eh?
Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert, doing everything while you do your thing.
We are less than 5,000 subscribers away from 725,000. Again, we're trying to hit that number before the NFL
Subscribe
draft.
to the man.
Today's
Using
episode
the
is
video.
sponsored by Element.
Skip his ad.
Element is a
Jeez, he talked about it for a while.
sports take ever, and it comes from LaShawn McCoy in regard to old Cam Ward, young Cam Ward.
And no disrespect to Cam, but I'm not sure if I'm all the way sold on Cam Ward. I don't know, dog.
Why not?
There's been a lot of
Was they
busts
talking
in these
just now?
drafts, right? That
Oh.
got a lot of attention. I've never seen a player have 0 stars in high school be the #1 overall.
Thank you, LaShawn McCoy. You've had 2 full months to form an educated opinion on Cam Ward, and all you could come up with was I've never seen a 0-star recruit go number
pause it.
one.
I didn't have any stars. No star.
Nothing that happens in high school matters today.
That's the stupidest argument. But
That's
out of high
dumb.
school, he didn't have any stars. What?
Man, yeah, but he only had 200 yards
I know
as senior in
he
high
threw
school.
40 touchdowns last year. But
It doesn't matter where he was; it matters where he is.
he ended up at Miami, one of the most prolific college teams in the country.
That's crazy. Well, anyway, I couldn't let that slide. We had to
Dumbest argument ever.
pause on that. He almost made me curse. He almost made me curse up on here.
Josh Allen, 0
Over 1,000 emails that weren't answered.
Josh Allen didn't go number one, but he was a 0-star recruit, and he's
I like this
good.
guy, man.
Devin
I'm gonna have to
Witherspoon,
remember this. and
0-star
subscribe.
recruit.
Go ahead and
Pretty good
subscribe
first
to him.
round corner.
So high school stars. It's talent.
You played the game, Shady. Why was Cam Ward a 0-star recruit? If that's something you've never fucking seen, wouldn't you want to find the answer to that
Language
question
warning,
to
guys.
share with your audience
with it.
via the sports show you were paid to supposedly have insight and contribute to?
So high school stars. It's talent.
This guy has an incredible amount of arm talent. Really fun player to watch.
He's an elite level passer.
A 0-star to a 5-star.
Even worse,
This guy's funny.
you're missing the mark so severely here, it makes me want to puke. He was a 0-star recruit because of the offense his coach ran in high school. It took me less than 3 minutes to understand that. ESPN did an entire feature on him, and it starts off with that. Once you know that, you negate your own dumb observation about talent because this kid worked his ass off and performed in every opportunity he got.
Exactly.
He's a wildly impressive success story. And you, a former player, shit on the best thing about him. He's literally risen to every occasion as a QB and athlete. So let me tell you, the professional on television, about Cam Ward. Mr.
Pause real
Shady.
quick.
Cam
before you
Ward
send this
grew
part.
up in West Columbia.
That's why that was so dumb, man. I couldn't believe he was taking it there. Like if anything, that should have shown the kind of grit the dude has.
You're talking
and
about how
determination
many
and
stars
perseverance.
the guy had.
Yeah.
He was
It seems like
17.
he had a lot against him going into college and
5
stuff.
years ago.
you
He
know?
played 5 years of college. So 5 years ago.
That's crazy, man.
Stupid. The stupidest thing I've ever. I mean, I don't know. These guys say a lot of stupid things. Like Emmanuel Acho says stupid stuff all the time.
If anything, you should commend his work ethic and being able to stick to it, and becoming what he has. Like you should be. That's crazy, man. Anyway,
Absolutely. Look at him. Look how big he is. Jeez. He's about a foot taller than his mama
I
and
know, right? Like a
Columbia
dumb
with
tackle right
Pablo
there.
Escobar.
Un día yo voy a ser presidente de la República de Colombia.
Sorry, West Columbia, Texas. There's a Paris, Texas, and a West Columbia, Texas, and a Miami, Texas. What the fuck isn't in Texas? Oh yeah, rising educational scores. Anyway, Cam Ward played high school football at Columbia High. The problem?
Played in the wing T. So I did.
Columbia ran a wing T offense. If you know anything about the wing T, you know it's not built for quarterbacks to shine.
Absolutely.
It's Bill Belichick's wet dream is what it is. Ward averaged just 12 passing attempts per game and barely cracked 1,000 passing yards his senior year. His numbers didn't jump off the page, and neither did his recruiting profile because there wasn't one.
This is a guy that started off as a 0-star recruit.
Was a 0-star recruit.
He ended his high school career with exactly one college offer. The University of the Incarnate Word, a small FCS school in San Antonio. That's it. No FBS interest, no Power 5 looks, just a single scholarship, which he accepted without hesitation.
UIW, Coach Morris, they blessed my first scholarship offer. That was all I needed.
The irony, the quarterback who would go on to break FBS and FCS touchdown records couldn't get a sniff from Texas Tech, Houston, or any of the in-state programs that now wish they'd look just a little harder. It also goes to show just how much of a marketing game that recruiting is. There are quarterbacks out there who haven't branded themselves or marketed themselves correctly, and teams miss out on potential starters because of it. Cam Ward was one of those guys.
I'm not a big rah-rah guy.
Ward didn't sit long once he got to Incarnate Word. He became the starter as a freshman, albeit during a weird spring 2021 season due to COVID delays, but he immediately lit shit up. In just 6 games, he threw for 2,260 yards and 24 touchdowns.
He's doing more cursing for us than we've ever done on the
Best freshman in the
47
FCS.
touchdowns his sophomore
Sometimes
year.
all it takes
That's
is going
crazy,
from the
dude.
wing T to an air raid system where you're able to throw the ball 30 or 40 times a game. Kind of makes you wonder how many good quarterbacks are being missed simply because their high school football coach is a cliche trapped in the 1970s.
We do things around here my way. You understand that?
In his second year, he took things to a new level. 4,648 yards, 47 touchdowns, and Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year honors. The buzz was building, and not the way a buzz builds for most college dudes. By the end of 2021, Cam Ward was arguably the best quarterback in the FCS, and the FBS came calling. Isn't that great? They can just poach whoever they want. Anyways, he hit the transfer portal and eventually chose Washington State following
Pause.
his Incarnate Word head coach.
What number do you think old boy's wearing?
7.
Think he's gonna wear 7? Is that confirmed or is that?
No, I just don't think he's gonna. He can't wear 1.
Yeah.
What's
You
Warren
can't
Moon?
wear 1?
You can't Warren Moon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So I think it's gonna be 7.
Okay.
Malik.
I wouldn't be surprised if he picked like a number 2 or something.
That's Tajay.
Oh, it sure is. That gum. Golly, I forgot these running backs and stuff had these wild numbers now.
Everybody has these. The craziest thing, you've seen that big old defensive lineman from Florida. He's
I guess
like
he probably is wearing 7.
450 pounds. You seen him?
Yeah, I like
He wore-
number
he wore
7
number-
for him though.
He wore number 21. This 450
Yeah.
pound defensive lineman from Florida.
Yeah, I like number 7 for him though. That's cool. I noticed that number. I didn't know he wore that at that school there. I was noticing that. That's why I asked.
Yeah, unless for some reason, I don't think he cares. I remember in a video with him and Shador. Shador's like, I gotta have number 2. You know, I've always been number 2. Blah blah blah. And Cam was like, I really don't care.
Yeah, for sure.
So what number I am, but yeah, I think 7 with where the team is now, for sure.
Eric Morris, who took the OC job in Pullman. It was a major jump in competition, and it did not faze him. Ward's time at Washington State didn't come with the same fireworks as his FCS days, but it did come with growth. In 2022, he threw for over 3,200 yards and 23 touchdowns. In 2023, he upped that to 3,735 yards, 25 touchdowns, and added a team-high 8 rushing scores. The Cougars didn't win a ton. They went 12-13 across his 2 seasons, but Ward improved in key areas: accuracy, decision-making, and
when you
operating in a more
winning as a
complex
quarterback
system. It's very similar to what we saw Bo Nix and Michael Penix do in the Pacific Northwest. Just get better every year. By the end of 2023, he looked ready to make the NFL leap. He even declared for the draft initially until a reality
Oh, wow, I
check
didn't know
from
that.
scouts had him trending as a day 2 or day 3 pick. So Ward made a strategic decision.
I said strategery.
He'd come back for one more year to a Power 5 contender and put a final exclamation point on his resume, which was smart because my resume was filled with typos and mustard stains. And that explains why I'm right here right now. His destination? The University of
Resume for
Miami,
what?
Florida,
NFL
not
quarterback?
Miami of Ohio. Ward's lone season at
yeah.
Miami was electric. He threw for 4,313 yards, 39 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions, setting school records for both yards and touchdowns.
Incredible.
Miami to a 10-3 record, earned ACC Player of the Year honors, won both the Davey O'Brien and the Manning Awards, and he even finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting. It was the best quarterback season the Hurricanes had seen since Ken Dorsey. I'm starting to realize those great Miami teams never really had a star quarterback, did they? What I love about Ward is he keeps the football out of harm's way, and he's done it his entire college career. 3 different schools, and
I
he's
love his
averaged
gift, and that's the
7.4
way. That's the
picks
way
per
I like
season.
it.
Ward also
Yeah,
became
it
the
already
all-time combined FBS and FCS leader in career touchdown passes, 158, But even as the numbers soared, he was still being picked apart by scouts. Some questioned his mechanics. Others didn't like that he sat out the second half of the Pop-Tart Bowl, a 42-41 loss to Iowa State after throwing 3 touchdowns in the first half. More alarming than that, he said his favorite Pop-Tart flavor is anything unfrosted. What kind of sick fuck chooses unfrosted Pop-Tarts?
Brown sugar cinnamon, it's only good when you heat it up.
Cam!
I'm really over it at this point.
Unforgivable. Still, his play spoke the loudest.
I agree with that.
Ward not only proved he could lead a major program, but he
Well,
did it while
old boy
showing a
ain't
new
got good
level of
Pop-Tart
polish.
taste.
Running Miami's offense
No
with
touchdowns,
rhythm,
don't eat no Pop-Tarts, all
anticipation,
right?
and situational awareness that hadn't
Psychopath.
always been on display in Pullman. I like that he entered the season with expectations that he might become the first overall pick and did nothing but confirm them.
I wake up and I tell myself I'm the best player in the country every day.
I think that says a lot about a prospect when they can live up to that kind of burden. And he solidified that notion at the combine through interviews alone.
No, I'm not going to throw here. I think, 5 years of film showcase everything I can do.
Ward's arm is legit.
Could you imagine
He throws
him and
with
Egg Buka
velocity,
attached
can change speeds, and
for the
rips
next 10
passes
years, though?
from multiple
Bird.
angles, especially from the
Bird.
sidearm slot he favors. He can fire into tight windows 25 yards downfield and fit balls into seams with anticipation.
That was beautiful.
I'm sorry, but it's just hard to say fit balls into seams with anticipation and not laugh like a fucking child. While his mechanics aren't always textbook, his arm talent lets him get away with it more often than not. I'm gonna get it back. He's not a dual threat QB in the mold of, say, Lamar Jackson, but Ward has real mobility. He avoids pressure well in the pocket, can extend plays, and picks up yardage when the play breaks down. His footwork is elusive, especially on rollouts and broken plays, and he rarely takes unnecessary sacks. Ward's
It's so hard
ability
to
to
judge
feel
rushing
pressure
in
is one of
college.
his
I think
strongest
you lose
traits.
yardage on
He
sacks
bobs and weaves
in college.
around the pocket like a shortstop, buying time without bailing prematurely.
taken.
When he keeps his eyes downfield, he's deadly. That said, he does occasionally drift into trouble trying to make something out of nothing. But this is where he's grown the most. At Miami, Ward looked much more comfortable reading defenses before and after the snap. He manipulated safeties, identified blitzes, adjusted protections, and worked through his progressions. He occasionally locks onto seam routes, the safety blanket, but he's improved as a rhythm passer
Pause real
and
quick.
shows creativity even
I like how quick he gets the ball out
Mhm.
with some of these design plays and stuff too.
I choose
I like
to
how-
believe that this guy is right.
Yeah,
About
me too.
everything. He getting me hyped up, man. That
But-
just
but-
don't
but-
get your butter churning, and I don't know what we.
Hey man, it's hard. This is what we do, man, as NFL fans, dude. So
Oh yeah, hope is what keeps us coming back every year. You know?
yeah, he's quick though, out of the pocket. I love that, man. I love how quick he can get rid of the ball.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, he's talking about his growth, and I mean, we talked about that earlier. How the turnover
Yeah.
really plays have been there, but he's gotten better. He only like 7 interceptions last year in 12
Mhm.
games. Not bad.
Mhm.
So
39 touchdowns.
yeah, sure.
win within
5-1
structure.
ratio.
Ward isn't without flaws.
All I do is fish and play the video game. And so
Now, some scouts point to his inconsistent footwork, especially when syncing his dropbacks with his reads. His sidearm delivery, while flashy, can cause placement issues, especially on short to intermediate throws. He also still has a tendency to hunt big plays when a check down would do. That hero ball instinct, while fun to watch, can get him in trouble, especially against NFL disguises. Take this throw, though, against Cal. It's 1st and 10 with nearly a full half left. And he makes this throw across his body that gets predictably intercepted. There's just no reason to do this. This is the stuff he's got to figure out if
That's
he wants
the
to
one
become
throw
a
everybody always
top-tier
goes
NFL
to.
QB.
Yeah.
The other thing
I've
about
seen that
Cam
talked
Ward,
about
he and his
probably a dozen
team
times.
eventually erased a 25-point deficit and won this game in Berkeley. There's some bad and there's a lot of good, but we have to acknowledge the flaws, right? I wish we didn't have to.
I'm with you, bud.
Why don't you own apartment buildings? Seriously, why don't you want these big apartment
This guy
buildings?
Titans fan, good grief.
Made my life a lot easier. He also struggled in the red zone, completing just 39% of his passes inside the 20 per
That's
PFF.
a big, yeah. I meant
That's
to
going to
bring that
matter
up
in the
too.
NFL
That's
where
a big
spacing is
percentage,
tighter
yeah.
and
I mean,
windows close
that's really
faster.
low.
If Tennessee takes him, he's going to have to throw against an
real
insanely
quick,
stacked
mayonnaise jar,
Texans
come on.
secondary twice a season.
That was unnecessary.
That's like a huge contrast too to someone like remember like a Mariota. That dude was like, I mean, say what you want about him in other aspects, but man, that dude was freaking fire in the red zone, man. You got him in
Didn't he
the
go like
red zone.
3 seasons without having a turnover in the red zone or something crazy?
Yeah,
like
he
that?
went. He had some crazy stat. I remember one time he was like dang near perfect down there at one point. Man,
Yeah.
he was crazy.
We didn't get
Yeah.
down there a lot, but when he was there,
Man, I had so much hope for Mariota, dude. I really thought he was going to be good. Dude.
I saw a really cool video today of him and Taylor Lewan seeing each other out in Oregon.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool, man. Big Dad.
Season. And while Ward doesn't throw many interceptions, some of his turnovers are head scratchers. Crossfield, off-platform heaves that never really had a chance. That's never something you want to see, but the idea is that kind of stuff can be reined in by coaching. We all know that coaching really helped Will Levis rein that shit in last year.
This is unnecessary.
Yeah.
You can only coach so much.
Ward's stock is red hot.
Yeah, me
He's currently
too.
projected to be the first
That's what
quarterback
everybody
off the
was
board.
saying. Good
Many
grief.
mocks
Good,
placing
said it out
him at
loud in
number
my
1 overall
house.
to the
I
Tennessee
think, yeah, I
Titans.
think I
That
may have
buzz
said it out
only
loud whenever the
intensified
play was
after
happening.
his impressive pro day, where Titans head coach Brian Callahan, fresh off of developing Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, praised Ward's maturity, arm, and personality. Quote, "I like confidence," Callahan said. "You can tell he came from a really good family. He's fun to be around. He's also serious and focused. He wants to be great." Are you saying Will Levis isn't serious and focused, Brian?
Oh, dude, man.
That
That's what I was
combination of
afraid
charisma,
of with the
talent, and
mayonnaise
football
crap.
IQ is why Tennessee seems ready to make him their franchise quarterback. For a team that's lacked a true star QB since Steve McNair, and
Fine
maybe you
Dukes
can
from
count
now
Vince
on.
Young, I think they're going to be running to the podium to make this pick. I said this about Jackson Dart,
All right, you can
but
stop
when you
throwing on the
need a
bench.
quarterback in a
Bad
QB
Titans.
poor draft, I think it's better to gamble on elite traits and upside, knowing you can live with the outcome even if it's bad. If Tennessee blows it with Ward, well, shit. They might just land themselves a first
Excuse the
overall
language,
pick
guys.
again and have a
It didn't,
chance to take Arch
I wasn't
Manning in
prepared for this.
2026. I think that's the mindset a lot of these teams should have when
This is
it
the first
comes
time I've
to
ever watched these
reversing
channels.
their fortunes. And the
hilarious.
Titans have been the team in free-for-all for a few years now. So do it, Tennessee. Bet big on a talented guy like Cam Ward. He fit well there, too. Brian Callahan runs a QB-friendly system that asks for intelligence, quick reads, and the ability to create when plays break down. All things Ward excels at. It obviously didn't work for Will Levis because that disaster gene was too beautifully prominent. Ward might have a level of chaos in his play style, but it's overshadowed by all of the great creative things he can do when the play devolves into backyard-style football. And he doesn't put anything weird in his fucking coffee. In terms of comps, Ward draws comparisons to Deshaun Watson,
Please don't.
pre-injury and pre-other stuff, because of his blend of structure and improvisation. If you squint hard enough, you might even see shades of early career Patty Mahomes. Not the superhuman arm, but the awareness and the field control. You know, that's a really lofty comparison, but you have to be squinting really hard. Are you squinting? The floor, he's probably a better version of Drew Lock, someone with the tools, but who needs real coaching to clean up the risk-taking. That might be a horrifying thing to hear if you're a Titans fan coming to grips with Ward leading your team, but you have to keep in mind this is one of those things that comes with owning the first pick in a poor quarterback draft. you're still taking a pretty big gamble. But Cam Ward is the best QB prospect in this class. That doesn't mean he's perfect. He's not. But when you balance the traits, the production, the experience, and the upside, no one checks more boxes. He's played in 57 games across 3.
All right. I like that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I learned a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know, excuse the language, I didn't know he was going to be crazy vulgar like that. But hey.
Nah, it's all good.
But yeah, a couple quick questions I had about the second pick, though.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know we're going Cam Ward.
Yeah.
What position do you say? Let's just assume we don't trade back, we don't trade up. Let's just assume we remain put. What position do you think is more likely at 35? I'm going to throw running back in there too because I think running backs. I think if there's, I'm only saying running back because of the rich group, and I think if one of these diamonds kind of falls, you know, I could see them maybe taking a gamble because some of these needs we have, we're fortunate they're deep. You know, edge rush, receiver, running back, you know, cornerback being a later need as well since we've kind of parted ways with Awuzie. But what do you think is most likely at 35, assuming we don't trade anywhere?
I would say if like Buka or Burton falls, one of them. If neither of them fall, then it's going to be edge.
I think it's probably wide receiver as well.
But I think, like I said, if one of those two guys isn't there, it could go either way. It's going to be, you know, best player available between those two.
I think it gets interesting if like a Quinshon Judkins or Trey Henderson are sitting there and they drop. I think that gets a little interesting. Obviously, you don't think that like Genty's going to be there, you know.
He's going top 10.
Excuse me. The running back from North Carolina, Hampton. I can't remember his first name. But yeah, I think it's most likely wide receiver, especially if one of those two guys is sitting there.
Yeah,
like
I think if one of those two, it's no brainer. Once those two are gone, then I think it's maybe a toss up.
Yeah, I do think that Titans are taking a running back at some point, whether we trade and get more picks or not. I think running back, because Tajay Spears was not reliable last year. And Tony Pollard is a little older. I don't think he's going to be here for too long.
Give me a word, man. Late round steal.
Yeah, and the news came out that a guy like Caleb Johnson from Iowa met with the Titans. He was a 30 meet. And I do think that it's a need that we have to address. I think we need a third guy in there, man. I don't think Julius Chestnut is your guy there, you know. I think you need a good power back to kind of complement the two you have there already. Obviously, those are your two. But I think you need a third guy to complement there, and Caleb Johnson was a name I saw that came up.
Yeah, I think the problem with him is that he's probably like a third-round guy. You don't have a third-round pick. I like him though.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I like Etienne, brother of Travis. Yeah. I've seen people talk about Dylan Sampson, but Dylan Sampson, I like him. He's a home run hitter. You know, he was awesome to watch at UT. But he's the same as the Tajay Spears, pretty much. He's I think he's like 5'8", maybe. And he had some fumble issues, man. He had some issues holding onto the ball.
Get Scatterbo in the fourth.
Scatterbo would be cool. Damian Martinez, Cam Ward's teammate at Miami. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I think the thing we're fortunate of is that some of these positions of need are kind of deep.
Yeah,
in the draft. So edge rush and running back particular, and I think that's why I think wide receiver would be where you need to go. Maybe I think it's probably less deep. than running back and edge
The
right
gap
now.
is bigger, I think, between those two. And
Yeah. So, I think that's what I think too. I think we agree on that. The wide receivers probably. I would love either one of those guys. Obviously, hometown fan, I'm biased, but I'll take either one of them.
heck yeah. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna take our final bite.
Final bite, dude. All right, man. I think we've got one more sharing this week. Dude.
Yeah, I got a little
I'll start
different.
it off
We're
real quick.
Go ahead, buddy.
I'll just start it off real quick, man. Shout out, welcome, and good luck to Taylor Zarzar. I hope I'm saying that right. That's a really tough.
Yeah.
I even looked it up earlier, and he pronounced it. I was watching him on Twitter, X. Excuse me. Gosh, I still haven't gotten used to that.
We all know.
But yes, yeah. But I just want to welcome him as the new voice to the Titans, man. We're wishing you luck. We're happy to have you here. He's going to be the new voice of the Titans and the new host of the Brian Callahan show. So
yeah,
get to know him, learn him. He's got some past that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, he does golf for all the major events. So he's out at the Masters right now, actually, for the radio broadcast, and then he does SEC football broadcasts as well. I think he's going to be continuing to do that stuff, but his home base is going to be here in Nashville, doing all things Titans. So yeah, that we agreed on a final bite that we wanted to give him a shout out. And I think I mentioned this before it was announced it was him, but like, don't expect him to be Mike. Let Taylor be Taylor, man. And I think let him be him.
You know what, man?
He's got a lot of
One
talent.
that I think we could agree on too, man. This was going to be my one last week. It was we were a couple days short of Earl Campbell's birthday, so we're belated on that. But legend, man. Oilers legend. Yeah, Oilers legend, man. He's in the Hall of Fame of Titans / Oilers running backs, man. But happy birthday to him, belated birthday to Earl Campbell, man. I saw that as well. So yeah, welcome Taylor. Happy birthday, Earl Campbell, and I think that's it, man. I think we need to call for that check now, please.
Yeah. On that note, check, please.
It's on Taylor.
Yeah, it's on Taylor. You just got to have money. Tighten up, baby.